Parker's reign has expanded to an almighty empire at Indian River, with the skeleton crew having almost completed 8 acres of ground leased from Kent Tatlow and Stuart Schmid on Parker's Dominion claim. They have his team mining 20 acres at the Long Cut and 114 at the Bridge Cut next door. As of today, Parker's kingdom spans a mammoth 9,550 acres of gold-rich ground, amounting to a colossal fortune. Parker's skeleton crew has almost completed 8 acres of ground leased from Kent Tatlow and Stuart Schmid on Parker's Dominion claim. He has his team mining 20 acres at the Long Cut and 114 at the Bridge Cut next door. As of today, Parker's kingdom now spans a mammoth 9,550 acres of gold-rich ground, amounting to a colossal fortune. The $25 million to Sulphur Creek is Parker's longest ever plant move. The team is stretched thin as they are stretched thin, but they believe that the production will pay for itself. They have the manpower to pick up all the extra stuff, and they are stretched pretty thin as they are. They have a pit stripped on sulfur that's ready to go, and they can bounce Bob over there and SLO these pits out. Parker's skeleton crew is now stretched so blooded tin, and they are already stretched so blooded tin. They have no replacements for any of this stuff, and if they damage one part of the wash plant, the whole plan is done. The last thing they need is Bob up and running, and it's down because of the feed lip desperate to sell and itching to know whether the ground is still producing. Parker's idea was to buy another piece of property, but they have the new chute all welded up. The real fun begins to see how the new one fits and how it will work. They are now ready to fire up Bob's feed lip, and they are already stretching so blooded tin. Parker has gold coming from 4 spots this week, with gold from the Long Cut on Dominion, averaging 150 ounces a week. The Bridge Cut has yet to hit 100 ounces in a week, and the Big Red Bridge Cut has been their best performing cut this season, delivering 2 ounces of gold an hour. Parker's new purchase for sulfur has produced nearly double the gold the Bridge Cut made all week. For the week, they have 535.148, more than half the purchase price of his new ground, better than a kick in the ass. Parker's skeleton crew has expanded their operations by buying gold, running 3 miles of gold run and a mile of ground on sulfur. They have embraced debt and are looking for sulfur to deliver at least 100 ounces of gold in just 2 days of running Bob sulfur. The team is excited about the potential gold they can produce and the potential for success in the coming weeks. Tony, a gold mining operator, plans to mine 18 acres of ground in the White Channel area, including the half-acre between the 2 cuts. He has all the necessary equipment, including 10 trucks, 3 excavators, and 2 D1S to complete the project. Tony needs his crew to dig down 60 feet and remove over 4 million tons of worthless overburden to hit the gold-rich pay layer. The first section of the cut will be exposed by the end of the week. The frozen ground in the cut is hard as concrete and has snapped the ripper shank in 2. Tony needs to get ripped right now, as it is not a good time to be down a ripper cat mining on the edge of the Arctic. The Beets family has just 6 months to bank as much gold as possible, so every day counts. At the end of the week, the Beets family is racing to get to pay dirt in the super pit by the end of the week. They are down a D11 dozer with a busted ripper shank. After a 3-day wait, a replacement 1.3-ton shank has finally arrived, but Chief Mechanic Kevin Beets is not back yet. Tony needs his other kids to step up and get the dozer back in the cut. Tony's solution involves removing the pin by hand, making sure the holes are lined up, and hammering the pin in until the hydraulics can lock it in place. He also swings the hammer to keep the pressure on the hole. Tony is working on a project that involves mining 18 acres of ground in the White Channel area with the goal of exposing the first section by the end of the week. The conversation revolves around Tony Ness, a mining company that has over 5,000 acres of prime Yukon real estate on the legendary Indian River. Tony has mined over 11,000 gold nuggets worth over $20, $2 million. But 4 years ago, he lost his water license, freezing him out from the richest ground he's ever mined. Now, an amendment to a license has put Indian River's treasures back within Tony's grasp, and the Bats could face their biggest season ever. Rick Ness is a neighboring miner who stole his only suction line that feeds vital waters to his wash. He found a section line where some on the other side mountain took it. He went to talk to KY, who worked for him less, and he said that a neighboring miner had taken the line. Rick is trying to keep his composure, but he sees it on the trailer and it's all up and smashed. He sends 2 monkeys to bring it back, but they return shaking. The conversation ends with Tony and Mike discussing their plans to go to the Indian River and the news of an amendment to their license. Tony has over 5,000 acres of prime Yukon real estate on the legendary Indian River, and the family hauled in over 11,000 gold nuggets today worth over $20, $2 million. However, Tony lost his license 4 years ago, freezing him out from the richest ground he's ever mined without a permit. The conversation revolves around Tony's plans to go to the Indian River and the discovery of a neighboring miner who stole his only suction line. The conversation highlights the importance of maintaining a strong connection between the mining community and the mining industry. They discuss the need to get a new vehicle and the pressure they faced, especially with the heavy workload. They also mention that they had to work quickly to get the plant up and running, and they are excited to see gold in the box. They appreciate the support of their friend Z, who made the trip up here with them. The conversation then shifts to the topic of the golden box and how it holds more weight this year. They couldn't have done it without Z, and they appreciate each other's support. They mention that they had to get through a big cut and frozen ground, and the trauma is still present. They also mention that King of the Klondike Tony Beats has already spent over $1 million stripping overburden at Paradise Hill and is still not on the gold. However, they have a partial license to go min in the Indian River and have most of the ground stripped for a month. Z believes that it means a lot to get started like this and that they deserve it. He also mentions that they have not yet seen anyone sing yet, but they have a partial license to go min in the Indian River and have most of the ground stripped for a month. Tony's amended water license allows him to return to his Indian River claims, but it would require moving his entire operation. He must decide whether to stay at the hill or pivot to the Indian River. Tony's Indian River claim has over 8 million pre-ripped gold-rich ground. 8 years ago, Tony resurrected an old dredge to mine one of the most lucrative valleys in Yukon history. He is obsessed with treasures and has added a second wash plant and shaker deck. Tony's operation pulled in a massive $10 million of gold in just 2 seasons. He is now ready to make a significant impact on the gold industry by doubling down on the gold-rich ground and adding a second wash plant and shaker deck. With the opportunity to return to his Indian River claims, Tony is determined to make a significant impact on the gold industry.